about anyway, so I just go, okay, well, whatever, because we don't understand it anyway, so you say, so okay, up to you.
Tell us your 5 favorite films.
I have much difficulty with giving favorite films because there's so many of them that are part of the fabric of what inspires you, you know. I missed it last night, but they were showing one in the graveyard, a Mario Bava film, which I love. Wish I'd seen that, because that's one of my favorites. But you know, any old monster movie, I love Ray Harryhausen's work. He inspired me a lot in terms of, you know, his style of animation and stop motion animation, and you know, there's just a lot of people, and I've been lucky enough to like meet people like Vincent Price or Christopher Lee, and people that have inspired me in my life, and Ray Harryhausen. So you know, I've felt very lucky to have met those people that are real artistic inspirations.
Of your own movies, which one is your favorite?
I can't, that's hard for me to say, because each one has flaws and, you know, good things and bad things, but I don't know, I guess, you know, the things that are closer to me are probably things like Edward Scissorhands or Ed Wood, you know, Nightmare for Christmas is something that I designed early on in my life, and but you know, I like parts of all of them because you know you spend a lot of time with them, so they're your babies, and you know you have to, you know, some of them may be ugly, but they're still your babies.
Well, tell us about Corpse Bride. There are some images very familiar to us.
Well, like I said, I grew up in Southern California, where there's a large Hispanic population, and you know the culture that I grew up in, the white suburban, was a very, you know, not very emotional part of culture, and so I always responded to like the Day of the Dead imagery because it had, you know, humor and life and joy and spirit, and so there's something about that that was really key kind of inspiration in terms of Corpse Bride, and you know, it's something that's always kind of a philosophy that's helped shape my life in terms of being very positive about things and positive about, you know, life, and I think that kind of imagery really supports that.
Great. Why stop motion? Why do you like this technique?
Well, it's just, you know, if any of you have been around stop motion, it's such a beautiful process, you know, it's things that you can touch and feel, and you know, you have sets, and there's something that's just very, there's a weird emotional connection to that that's, I find different than, you know, I mean, I think all forms of animation are great, you know, drawing is great, computers are great, but there's something specific about stop motion that I find very emotional. Okay.
Tell us, where is the world going? How do you see the world?
Well, yeah, it's hard to say. You know, I haven't lived in America for like 6 or 7 years, so that almost seems like another planet to me now. You know, I haven't really been back to America in a long time, but it honestly feels stranger and stranger to me, and I always felt like a foreigner there anyway, and so, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if I was from another planet and just don't know, you know, the whole planet kind of seems alien at the moment. Except right here. This is like quite nice.
Why keep on making movies?
Why?
Why?
Because I couldn't get a regular job, probably. I think most people that get into films have trouble fitting into any other form of life or society or job. So, you know, so in some ways it's quite lucky. had no other skills.
Are you still a child? It seems like you play.
No, when I go to a bar, I can order a drink. There are things that that I can do now that I couldn't do before.
Do you have a very clear idea of what you want in the set? I mean, with the actors?
Yeah, I have an idea, but again, I like to let the actors explore it because they're the ones doing it. So I always try to work with people that I try to share the vision of what you're trying to do. And I've been lucky. So a lot of that is in casting people that you feel are going to kind of go on that journey with you and try to find what you're looking for. But sometimes it's not real specific, it's just more of a feeling. And so I like to work with those kind of intuitive actors that try to just find it there on the set.
What is more important, the script or images, the aesthetic?
Well, I mean, I've often been accused of, the movie's looking good, but the story's not being so, the script's not being very good or whatever. But I always feel like with cinema, they're both equal. I mean, it's got to be the writing, but it also, the movies I remember, it's the combination of the image and then what the story is that are equal parts. I will often, the images often tell the story. Growing up watching certain horror films, I can't remember the full story, but a certain image will stay with me forever, and I think that's a story. So I think they go hand in hand.
What do you think about Guanajuato, Mexico?
Well, like I said, I've always wanted to come here, and it's really beautiful. I really mean that. There's a spirit to it and a beauty to just the way the buildings look and the caves and everything. Coming from Burbank, it's like the exact opposite of what, it's the exact opposite sort of environment. So if I'd come here earlier, I probably would have moved here, when I was a child.
How do you work with the photographer, the cameraman in the set?
Well, I point to the actors in the set and tell them to point the camera. See those guys in the funny costumes? Let's go shoot them. No, I mean, they're very, obviously, it's important to work with, they're like actors. I always like to get along with the cinematographer because it's making of the film, and they are as crucial, if not more so than the actors. The designers, cinematographer, actors, all part of it, just coming to life. So, they're your core group of people, and I've been lucky to work with ones that I consider artists. There's some that they're good, but the real artists inspire not only me, but the actors and everybody else to kind of do, better work, kind of raise up their enthusiasm.
Okay, thank you very much. I think it's time for the question.
Oh, okay.
For the public.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'm just listening to my iPod, so don't tell me.
Tenemos dos micrófonos aquí al centro que funcionan, por favor, y vamos a